Assalamu alaikum guys. Hope everybody will be fine. Today in this video lecture, I will guide you for depth of foundation for two-story domestic building, not for commercial building. Because of some students comments and comments box, they asked for depth of foundation for two-story domestic building. So therefore, watch this video till the end to know about depth of foundation, size of column, etc. Let's get started guys. First of all, I will tell you before starting depth of foundation, I will tell you design of footing, beam, column, slab, steel reinforcement inside the structure. This is not easy to say depth of foundation should be 5 feet, 3 feet, etc. You can't consider that the size of the column should be 12 by 12 or 16 by 12, etc. Because this is not the work of architectural designer. This is the work of structural engineer. So therefore, you can't consider and don't say to someone that this is the size of footing, this is the size of column, beam, etc. But unfortunately, we have a lot of poor people. They want to construct their house, normally 1 story, 2 story. They can't hire a structural engineer. So what should they do? Because they don't have enough money. So therefore, I will guide you for depth of foundation, okay, without structural design. Because to design a beam, column, slab, footing, for that we have different things. Okay, we consider different things. For example, soil test. What should be the bearing capacity of soil for that structure which you want to construct? As well as we have different types of soil. We have structure load, different structure load we have, and also as well as live load, etc. So therefore you can't consider, but I will tell you from my personal experience, if you are not an engineer and you are non-technical person and you want to construct your house, so you can follow these rules which I am telling you from my personal experience. So let's get started guys. Note one thing: design of beam, column, slab, stairs, etc. It should be designed by a structural engineer based on framing plan, soil testing report, and design of footing. Okay, so now guys, suppose you want to construct a 2-story building, domestic building. So what should be the size of footing? Guys, the size of footing and the depth of footing I will tell you from my personal experience, not for commercial building, just for domestic building, for normal domestic building. So the depth of the footing should not be less than, not this one, what I am telling you. Okay, so depth of footing should not be less than, I will write here the first thing, depth of footing should not be less than 1 meter. Okay, or you can say 3.28 feet, because 1 meter is equal 3.28 feet. Got it? Next guys, the size of column, the size of footing, okay, as well as size shouldn't be less than 2 feet, or you can say 0.6 meter. This is for what? For 1 story. Okay, if you have 1 story, so it should not be less than this 0.6 meter. Now guys, come to the main point. As you can see, this is the footing size and this is its depth. So what should be the depth of foundation? What should be the depth of footing or foundation? But I will write here footing, depth of footing. Sorry for that. Okay, so the depth of the footing should be for 2-story. Normally, it should be 4 feet by 4 feet. This is size of footing. Now what should be the depth? Okay, So this is the size of footing for 2-story, 1.2 meter by 1.2 meter. So this is size of footing. Now the depth of the footing should be, as you can see, this is ground level or natural surface level, NSL you can say. Okay, so the depth of the footing should be for 2-story 1.5 to 1.7 meter. So this should be the depth of footing. Maybe if you have a structural engineer and if you hire the structural engineer for depth of foundation or for your domestic building or for commercial building, so maybe it will be decreased, not 1.5 to 1.7. But actually, therefore, I am telling you, because I want to increase the depth of foundation. Maybe something happened, because I don't know what type of soil you want and what type of soil you want to construct your building. I don't know the bearing capacity of that soil. I don't know what is the structure load. I don't know what is the live load in your country and your city. So therefore, I have to increase the depth. So from 1.5 to 1.7 meter, you can keep the depth of footing for 2-story domestic building, not for commercial building, as I discussed here. Okay, so the depth should be, this is for 2-story. Okay, so the depth should be 1.5 to 1.7 meter. This should be the depth, or you can say 5 to 6 feet. Okay, so this is the depth of footing. Now guys, so this is from my personal experience. Okay, so I didn't recommend any book, or I can't tell you that this is from ACI or IS, etc. Okay, so this is from my personal experience. So I already did lot of construction, okay, without the structural design, because for 1-2-story especially we don't need a structure engineer. So you can keep which I have discussed in the front of you, but more than 3-story you will hire a structural engineer, so you are not able to do the design by architectural designer. Therefore I am telling you guys. Okay, so if that is domestic or commercial. Now guys, what should be the size of column for 2-story building, ground plus 1? Okay, so in that case the size of the column should be normally 9 inch by 12 inches, as you can see guys here. So this is size of column. It should not be less than this. But for single story, okay, for 1-story, remember this, for 1-story size of column should be, normally you can keep 9 by 9 inches, and used minimum 6 steel rods, and the dia should not be less than 12 mm. So this is dia. Okay, and if you see its lateral ties, okay, so the lateral ties hook should be bent with 135 degree, as I discussed before, and dia of lateral tie okay, so the dia should be 8 mm at the rate 100 to 150 mm. So this is for ties. Got it? And for normal domestic building, lapping should be not less than 1 meter. Okay, and try to provide the lapping L by 3 distance. Lapping place, you can say. Got it? Let me draw it. As you can see, this is column. So this is height divided by 3. So it means not at the mid, not at the bottom. Don't provide here lapping, as well as here not at the bottom. So L by 3 distance. So here is the place you can provide the lapping, and it should not be less than 1 meter. This is especially for non-technical people. But after completion this video, I am telling you again, so you should hire a structural engineer for more than 3-story building or 3-story if that is domestic or commercial building, because if someone tell you that should be the depth of footing, size of footing, so you can't consider if you don't have experience for 2-story as well as why not. But for normal residential building, as I discussed the front of you, so you can use for your building. So hope this video can help you. Thanks for watching. See you in next video. Goodbye.